How many people on your list?
So I have a list that is segmented from people who bought through my online stuff, probably about 500. And then I have another list, which isn't yet in, which needs to get in,
So you have,
which is about 1,500.
So you have 2,000.
Yeah.
Somewhere between 300 and 350.
Okay.
About 200.
Okay. Diane?
How many
You know what,
issues?
mine's, mine is starting out,
Okay.
about 13,000.
3,000.
Okay.
I have 500 officially on my segmented list, and then I probably, like, I have a whole other list that before I started doing the list, so I'm working on getting those people, and then probably got another 1,500 too.
Great.
Are you defining list as people that we send emails to?
Yes. Or
0.
okay. So you're fresh.
I'm very
How about
fresh.
For my friend for your law practice, 0?
I can't, as lawyers, we can't just send out
Send out.
emails.
You can send out a newsletter, can't you?
Yeah, but anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's great. You all have different varying lists. It's great that some of you are segmented. For those of you who aren't segmented, start segmenting and just make notes. Are you all on Infusionsoft or OAP or
Aweber.
I'm on Infusionsoft.
Okay.
What do you recommend?
Um,
What do you recommend for being?
Well, this is the thing about email autoresponders. If you start out cheap, all the time and thinking that you do in those free software programs, when you go to a more complicated software program, you have to import all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So free actually ends up costing you a lot of time, labor,
Yeah.
and heartache. So if you can afford a subscription to either Infusionsoft or OAP or even Aweber from the the beginning, you can grow that to a certain point when your business is so big, and then you can pay somebody to do the importing.
Okay.
But I just want you to be, really clear, like free is not always free, and it's sometimes painful. So about your list, the reason that we want to keep continuing to communicate to our list and keep touching people is you want to be on people's minds. Even if they don't open your email, they see something from you in their inbox, and they know that you're on it because you're creating your credibility and expertise inside their inbox. Even though they might not open it, they're seeing your name all the time. Okay, so what do you know about the people on your list? What is their commonality?
They're interested in feng shui. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on my list.
Okay,
They're women entrepreneurs.
okay. Anyone else?
Business owners, employees.
Business owners and employees, those are different.
Yes, they are.
So you have business owners running and you have employees learning. How does that?
I work with productivity,
Okay,
and so that applies in both areas.
great.
So I've been hired by employees as well as business owners.
Okay, so for a strategy for you is to have 2 separate campaigns of conversations, right? So that's why the segmentation in that particular instance is awesome, because how you frame that conversation for the employees is way different than the business owners. So this is the thing about email that I really want to speak about. The thing about email is it's a strategy, and it's a conversation, and it's an intimate one if people are opening your emails. So let's always assume that everyone is opening our emails, even though they might get spammed. And the thinking behind that, like I'm sure you've all opened an email and you're like, oh my God, this person is so out of touch, and you just immediately discount them. I think what Caterina does really well is she has that in her emails to us. Like she knows I've been to 3 different events. She's, I'm going to a couple more. It's actually, even though it's a blanket email, it seems that it's tailored to me and my relationship with her. And so email is its own animal, but you need to give it time in your business, because in your list is where the money's at. To make those invitations, to introduce new product, your technology, all of that stuff. If I'm going too fast, please tell me to slow down, because I tend to talk super fast. So what we want to know is the commonality in our list. Why are they there? How did they get there? And what can we offer?
So when you say your list, but that could be, like I have a list just of image consultants, and I have a list of direct sellers, so you're saying with every list, what's the commonality?
Right.
Okay.
Right, and that's why you segment, because their direct selling people have a totally different sales conversation than an image consultant.
Right.
So you have separate campaigns, and inside that list you might have 5 or 6 different conversations happening.
Okay.
But email is a really important tool, even though everybody says it's on its way out. It's only on its way out if you have disinterested participants who never wanted to be on your list anyway. If they opted in on your list, they want to know you, they want to experience you, and it's your duty to have that conversation with them. So I would like you to list 3 to 5 common features or commonalities that people on your list have.
So could you give us some examples what you mean?
Well, like on my list are small business owners, they're women, they're usually second chapters, in their lives. They've either come out of a career.
So it's really like your target market. Who
It's your target market, but there might be a psychographic variable there that we haven't touched on. That might be a thread of conversation that can, bring you lots of exposure. So I just want you to think about what that might be. Carrie, where's the music? I'm kidding.
Oh, sorry.
I just love when you do that.
I can go do it if you want. David's not here.
Pandora on my phone.
It's okay, my friend.
I love Pandora.
She's just, jabbing me.
No, I'm admiring you.
We're still on, what number, we're still on 1, right?
Yeah, we're still in one.
Okay.
That first box.
Thought I missed something.
The first box.
Okay.
What is their commonality?
Yep. Sorry. Fill in the spaces commonality, yeah.
Interesting.
And what I'd like to say is if you don't know what the commonality is, you need to noodle about it. Because there is a common thread of everybody that's on your list and why they're on your list. And that's probably going to be a key point for... Okay, so people are still writing.
I'm realizing I only have the one knowledge of feng shui because it's men, women, it's all age brackets, it's business owners, it's
Real estate agent.
yeah, it's.
But you can also segment for
I
real
can
estate.
segment that, but
Well, I mean, I just invite you to actually look at men and women because the way the language between men and women is different. So if you segmented that list out and you had this whole campaign just by sex, it'd be interesting to see what the metrics pull up for you as you communicate to them and how they respond. Because, guys, we were just talking about that earlier, guys speak a different language than women do.
Yeah.
And yet with feng shui, actually they don't. They do it because they're spiritually minded. They're more aware.
So that's a commonality.
Okay.
And I'm definitely clearly targeting women on my website, and men are showing up as
And
well.
Okay.
It's interesting.
everybody's young, you have a lot of young people too.
But I'm going to stick with women because it's
Well, we can talk about that.
yeah.
Okay, so is everybody
I
pretty much
target
done?
women, but I have male clients too.
Has everyone
It's
jotted down their thinking?
It's the few
Yes.
good
Yeah.
men.
Okay. Does anyone want to share? Just
Yeah. Yeah.
okay. Go
So
ahead.
women entrepreneurs, they're small business owners, and they're juggling work and family time.
Okay. And the meaning inside of that is what?
Stress, just on the run all the time,
So what's your solution?
feeling guilty. Well, everything I do, like how to overcome overwhelm, managing their life, being powerfully at choice, ignite your life. It's the whole.
Right.
This is what I do. This is the work I do with that.
So when we're talking about live events, we get to cover a lot. But just inside of that, what you just said to me, there's like 5 different products from an information product standpoint that you could actually create and be able to sell online. So the reason that we're making this analysis is because, I know we're doing live events. My brain is more, being online and selling stuff online. So that's the beauty of understanding who your list is, because then you can create products that leverage automation, communication, and be able to ring your cash register 24/7.
Got it. Christine, and I don't want to, when I said 500 people on my list, let me just explain. They haven't all opted in. There was about 500 names being entered in as we speak into Infusionsoft from the stack of cards I had by my VA. But this is my thing now. I mean, they need to opt in, right? So
Right.
what I was thinking of doing was just sending out a teleseminar on work-life balance that I recorded last year as my New Year's gift to them.
Great.
And built into that can be an opt-in. Those who already opted in will just, I guess, get it. And those who already, because I don't know how to distinguish who did and who didn't.
That's
And-
where your segmentation and Infusionsoft will help you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can have, okay, so I can have the VA send out one letter to those who opted in and one letter to those who didn't
Right.
opt in. Oh,
See, that's the beauty of Infusionsoft or OAP,
okay.
AWeber. You can do
So, so I guess I kind of lied when I said I had 500 on the list. I only maybe have 100.
Well, let me talk about a list. So Caterina has 13,000, you said? So her 13,000 is spread over probably, what, 5, 8, 10 years of
If not more.
business, right? So your list that you've just been acquiring in the
Yes.
last 24 months, you would probably have
12 months.
okay, well, your relationship with them
Yes.
is probably a little bit more fresh and
Yes.
intimate.
Yes.
So that list would probably be more responsive than a list of 13,000 that's been accumulated over 10 years.
Okay, good.
So for Caterina, her list management, and I know Baby's on top of it, but it's to really like cull the list down because she wants the people that are going to be engaging her to continue to engage her. And her campaign of people that may have known her over time is a different conversation because she wants to bring them back into the fold.
Right.
Do you want a tissue?
So, actually, Christine, so I made a change this last year, and which I forgot to say yesterday, is that I only work with women. And so one of my commonalities is that the majority of the people on my list have heard me speak live.
Nice.
Okay?
That's awesome.
Yeah, which is good. But I want to take the guys off.
Okay, what are you going to do with the guys?
I'm gonna get rid of them.
Get rid of them.
Why?
You're gonna clone a male equivalent of Caterina.
Because I don't have any offerings for them.
Please don't get rid of them, but put them on a sleeper list because I know the way your brain works, and I know that you'll create something just for men.
Okay, probably
And-
not, but.
and-
But
I-
won't
I
they
take
tell
your
the
advice
women-
and put them on sleeper.
Caterina,
Yeah, but won't
The
they tell
guy-
the women in their lives?
Katerina, the guy who was in the audience at the
Yeah.
summit in LA
Yeah,
was one of the most popular
he
people in
was
the room.
lovely, but he did not do any business with me, and, I do not want guys in the room, and I didn't want him in the room.
That's the issue. She didn't want him there.
I don't want
Period.
him
She doesn't want him there. The only one guy that can be, two guys, David and Gary. That's it.
there. Right.
She's very clear about that.
Some strategic partner, I hear you, so I will.
I just know that you're a powerful businesswoman, and I know that your message is about this.
Right.
But I also know that what you have to offer, the skill set to others, to men, is equally as important. So even though it's not on your radar right
Put him on
now,
a sleeper, I will take your
Yeah.
advice, we'll put him on a
or
sleeper.
send them out a quarterly
Yeah,
something
okay.
to keep your name in front of them.
Sleeper.
Yeah, because this is what we know about,
And there are men who want to work with women.
and this is what we know about contacts.
And have them refer to women they know.
This is what we know about contacts. Every contact that you make is an opportunity for business. So even though they may not fit into whatever our target is right now, doesn't mean that later on that they can't become a part of your marketing.
And an example is, I don't want men in my group either, yet sometimes they show up, and very often they will invite their wives or their daughters or some other female in their life to come, and so it's been a benefit.
Well, just for me as a side point, I think men, I get why sometimes we don't want men in the room, but I also know that men also bring something else to the table. And so I just want to keep that, keep your mind open to that.
Christine, I'm really overwhelmed by my, I wouldn't say list yet, but my contacts, because I have a lot of attorneys and all different types of attorneys. I have financial advisors, bankers, CPAs, insurance, medical,
Nice.
business owners, wellness. I mean, it's such a wide variety of people because I lead 2 professional groups that I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to be doing with these people.
Well, let's
I
talk.
mean,
Let's
other
talk
than-
about that
Yeah.
because you've got a couple different strategies of conversation going on.
Yeah.
So let's talk about how we might be able to break that out so you don't feel so schizophrenic trying to speak.
Yeah.
Because I don't know that one campaign actually will work in that instance. You might have to break it out by, types of profession. because the way you speak to an attorney is way different than you speak to a real estate agent.
But isn't the list you're building for fundraising? For fundraising?
Yeah, I'm building, so I'm a lawyer, so I have a private practice and a nonprofit, so I'm focused on the nonprofit, so,
Right.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's talk about that a little bit more, because I think I need to think about it.
Okay,
And get
yeah,
more
sure,
background.
yeah.
So, moving on, do you know what does anybody know the blank? Number 2?
Where your clients,
Yeah,
Your
what your
list
customers want from you.
Customers.
Do you know what your customers want from you?
solutions.
Or do you think you know what your customers want from you? Right?
A little of both.
So, I'm going to jump up a little bit ahead. So, a little bit of both. How do you develop, number 3 is, how do you develop your products or services to your list?
I come up with an idea and I test it, throw it out. And sometimes I'll develop something that I think is really great, what they need, and they don't purchase it. And then other times they're telling me what they need, and once in a while I actually listen.
So which way is the most effective way for you to actually bring products to market?
Ask them.
Ask them.
I wait for them to ask me, and then I create a workshop.
So if you want to have a driving force in your business, is to really use questionnaires. Start asking them what they want. You're an expert in a conversation that they have tagged you as being important. You know, the guys in the space, in the internet marketing space, they will always tell you trend analysis, keyword analysis, and ask your list what they want. And then they develop a product for what people are saying they want.
What would that look like, Christina? You know, people are so busy nowadays, and
Short
then I'm
questionnaire.
saying, could you do a short survey for me? Do I offer them a little incentive for that?
Yep. Yep. You know, what would that be for you? Like, what could you exchange for them to take 5 minutes? And it's really important, too, when you do a questionnaire that you say, hey, this is only 5 minutes.
Okay.
Because
well,
everybody's
there's a
time,
whole art to that.
everybody's time is important.
And is there a link to like the Survey Monkey thing?
Yes, you could go to Survey. Yeah, I use SurveyMonkey.
I've never used, but I guess it's.
It's.
I love the name.
Infusionsoft doesn't have a,
Yeah, they do.
they have a
A question.
component. They
Yeah,
do?
I forgot she's in Infusionsoft. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So the bigger thing is when we're coming to market or we're doing events, we come to the place where hey, this is what we have. This is my expertise. This is what I'm speaking about. Come on and join me. That's normally the old marketing way. The other way is if you do have a list, which you folks do, especially with Feng Shui, I'm sure there's nuances inside Feng Shui that you could be asking them, maybe not a live event around, but that you could be developing product around, information product, you know, whole video series that allows them to learn from you for $47, you know, 24/7. That's where you really want to go with this conversation. As you're thinking, you're doing your live events, how can I take a certain part of my event and make it a product? And that somebody could have exposure to me so that A, I could sell them something more complicated later, or B, I can be inviting them to an event that I'm having or participating in. Does that make sense? So when I look at stuff for market, for me, I think about, like I was doing my sales fountain. So I'm going to tell you, my business model never worked. Never worked because my price point was super high. And people didn't have the opportunity to have engagement with me unless I was, you know, talking to them in a consulting capacity. So, you know, working with Caterina, I've come up with like 5 different offerings. One's in Facebook, for Facebook advertising. How do you do that? You know, another one is this conversation of product launching. What would it take for you to create a product? Or what are you doing in your existing business? You know, there's the conversation of business development, and then there's all the branding aspect of it. So I'm making those at $97 for my price point. But if one of those things, let's just say Facebook, because it's such an awesome platform to advertising now. Let's say everybody just loved Facebook, then I would go and develop a more complex messaging around Facebook and how to use it, how to buy your advertising, you know, how you opt those people in and how you get them in your tribe and your list and your likes and blah, 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 blah. But, so that's the thing, is as you're developing stuff, you want to think about it in an immediate sense, but a long-term strategic sense too. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of
Yes.
sense.
Yeah.
So I have
Yeah.
a question for you, my friend, related to that.
Okay.
Okay, so you know, I love, of course, I love that you have the bottom bowl now with the $97, get a lot of peeps in your fountain. So I'm doing my Enliven, which is my one-day event on how to plan a biggest profit from a women's retreat.
Right,
And the price that we offer it at the summits is $397.
right,
So I don't wanna offer it less on a email campaign.
right.
What is the price point that gets good, or is it, do we just have to test it? And is it different for everybody for what a list or?
Well, I mean, some of that funnel is coming from the weekend retreat. Some of those people are sort of
Right.
moving over. Other people,
But I'm saying, I guess what I'm saying is I want to attract new women to our community.
right,
That's the purpose of Enliven.
right. Well, you know, your price point has so much to do with your positioning. And because I haven't seen the event, I don't know if that price point is really in alignment. I'm sure it is. But if you're, I think that you made an offer somewhere, I was listening someplace, and you said something like, it's this, and it's this, but for you in Texas, it's this price, because I want you to fly here, and I want you to come to my event,
Okay.
right?
Wow.
That
And-
sounds just like you.
I actually thought it was genius,
Yeah,
because you were trying to bring people in
Right,
outside of this area
Right.
to come. And so I think it depends on that. It depends on your location. It
Right.
depends how, if they're having a relationship with you, if it's somebody like me that's seeing you all the time versus somebody that you haven't seen, or maybe it's that 13,000 peripheral, you know, that's why segmenting your list is so important.
Right. Because you could also segment geographically.
Absolutely. And geography
Which
is
we do.
huge, right?
Right, which we do.
Because you have
Right.
Texas and you have LA, and if you
Right.
want them to come to San Francisco, you know, the bonus is, hey, we won't charge you that much, but because you have an airfare, like you're considering their costs to get
Right.
here, but you want to impart that knowledge. That is just such a great lead generator. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much, yeah.
Okay,
The thing is, lots of factors. That's the answer, lots of factors.
lots of factors.
That's the answer you had for me.
And I
Yeah,
And then
Exactly.
you said something very interesting. Think about how you can take a piece of your live event and create a product around that.
yeah.
What would give somebody us an idea what the right piece would be at our live
Well,
event?
she has business owners and employees, right?
Right.
I'm an employee that doesn't get much done, and as a business owner, I am concerned that this person doesn't get much done, right? I'm an
Right.
employee that's not getting much done, and I'm an owner that I have
Yeah.
somebody that's
Right,
not producing.
right. So how to improve efficiency.
So the conversation to the employee is, hey, you know, you need to be accounting for all your hour. I don't know what all your tactics are, but you know, like giving them the to-do list, and you know, maybe delivering that in 2 or 3 modules of conversation, versus the you know, the business owner of how do you motivate this
Yeah,
person who's not
being a
very
leader.
productive.
Leadership and
Right.
yeah, motivating people. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's I'm sorry. Tell me again. Your life coach.
I'm a life reinvention coach.
Okay, so
I
let's.
work with women who are in in transitions from professional business careers,
So let's take this one.
living their life.
I'm a corporate worker,
Mhm.
and I'm a mom, and I'm totally disenfranchised from what I'm doing, and I want to find some alignment in my work.
Classically unengaged, classic, right?
Right.
Right.
And I know that I don't want to be here, but I don't know what the other side looks like.
Exactly.
You could have a $27 product, which is, you know, how to be happier, you know, inside your work. That gets you money. It gives them something cheap that they can have an experience with you, and you become an expert once they start listening. So you can transcribe your video and have it be a booklet and give them the video. Have them download the video. So everyone in this room has the ability to make information products. We just have to think about how we leverage that
Yes.
online. Right? Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
good, thank you.
Sure.
So these are not necessarily great big things either.
No, let's take an example. Let's use Jeff Walker, okay? Let's use the master of Mr. Product Launch. Mr. Product Launch has a sequence that goes out 6 weeks in advance. So he does an internal launch, and he tests it, and then he goes back and he tweaks it, and he writes more campaigns. And so by the time he finally launches, he knows that all his communication is going to work. When he brings his JV partners on, he knows it's going to work. But before he actually got to that launch, that national launch with all his partners, he has tested, he has had people look at his product, review his product, had his mastermind groups, give him feedback, comment. He's probably done a little beta testing with his list, and he's tweaked it, and then so finally when that smooth launch happens, which I want to tell you, most launches aren't smooth. We like to plan for everything so that, we can put out the fires, but there's a lot of moving pieces, and it's very complex, and that's why when somebody actually knows what's going on, it goes a little bit easier. I really invite all of you, as you go forward and you create these products, to have someone that you're communicating with. If it's, I know Caterina does some of that conversation inside her mastermind group. So just keep engaged with people, and collaborate, because the feedback from the market will determine how successful you are. If you're not listening to your list and you're not listening to other people around you, you're sort of, shimmy in the dark.
Related to that, I give more weight to the more people have done with me. Like when people have come to a summit, but they didn't sign up for anything, I of course listen to their comments, but they're not my ideal client because they didn't choose to make an investment.
What you call upgrading? Is that what you say, upgrading?
Up-servicing?
Up-servicing, that's right.
They didn't take advantage of the up-service. So what you all carry the most weight of, because you invested the most of anybody. So everybody's comment is welcome and considered, but the more people have invested,
Right.
the more weight it carries.
Right.
And this is important because you hear all kinds of things from all kinds of people, but they're not necessarily your ideal client because they didn't choose to majorly invest with you.
Right.
So somebody that's not happy with a $20 product, they don't carry much weight.
Right. Right. Yes.
Question, and I think this is where I've gotten all balled up, is that whether it's product or event, workshop, whatever, my whole thought process has been, I have to give so much value in order to make it worth price. And I don't know how much value that really is.
What's your price?
I don't know yet.
Whatever the price is.
Whatever the price is. Yeah.
I don't know how you can make that equation. You know what I'm saying?
What product are you thinking about?
Because right, I just want to show you your thinking in this conversation.
No, that's why I'm
is
throwing it.
the value. I don't know how much value to give relative to the price, and I asked you what your price was because your price will dictate how much you give. In the sense
Okay,
of,
let's say $97 for a 3-hour workshop.
okay, that's a really great value. That's like a steal value.
Okay.
I would say for 3 hours, maybe $197. And so this is the thing in our communication. It's our value proposition, right? It's our value proposition. People will come, like I love Caterina because I have this conversation about grief and loss, and I come to her and she says something brilliant, and I'm really taken with that. And she's like, hey, my friend, just come to this, what is it, the workshop, and check me out and learn some more stuff for $97. And I'm like, for $97, I can do that. For $97, I can sit, wow, it's 6 hours. Wow, that's a tremendous value. And so, yeah, she got me to, sign up for the speaker program.
She's coming to luxury retreat, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
What else am I doing? I'm stuck to Caterina for an entire year.
She's also good. Co-author in On the Wings of Faith.
Oh yes, that's right. I finished my chapter.
You're actually doing more than me. Yeah, it's great. You're like a mini me. Okay, so here's what I want to say to you. I just love you, and the thing that I love is, you see, the thing about money is it's an inner conversation. It's valuing what you're bringing here, and you're in a conversation about what you're ready to receive.
Because your expertise. See, in our head, in your mind, you've already decided, well, I don't know if that's valuable or not valuable. But I've never heard your conversation, so anything I learn from you is valuable. Like today, I'm going to share this. So there's this conversation about product launching is way deep and very complex. And I remember Caterina saying, keep it simple.
Well, and that's where
Right.
the issue is. I can put so much information into a 3-hour workshop that people walk out and you can see their eyes spinning in their head.
Is that your
And
objective?
it's too much.
Is that that's not your objective?
Right.
Right.
Stories, fill the time with stories.
Yes,
That's where you give the value, that's where it sticks,
right.
that's, because that's.
People get it through
yeah.
stories.
And let me say that the biggest challenge with people doing their own events in the beginning is, and myself included, is putting too much content
Right.
in there.
Yes.
Right.
And then if they feel overwhelmed, they don't take advantage of the other
Right.
service.
Right.
So
So true.
Sandy, here's what
That's
I
why
want
I'm
you to
asking
know,
questions.
what I want you to know is that you have so much value to bring. You have so much knowledge and experience that you are so not at risk
Of under-delivering. Yeah.
of under-delivering.
Yeah.
Okay?
And what I want to say
I
to
just don't want to over
Right, and so,
complex.
and we can talk about it more, so I don't wanna take
Yeah.
Christine's time, but yes.
So the other thing I just want to say to that is know what your goal is in your live event. Because when you know what your goal is, you know, in any communication, broadcasting, social media, any of that, videos, you have to know what your goal is of that particular activity from a marketing standpoint. And if having their eyes roll in their heads is not your objective, that will help you frame what you can say.
So simple when you say it like that.
Right? And so I would love your feedback after this because it's a very complex conversation. And if I make it simple for you and you guys all understand it, then I accomplished my goal. So I'd love to hear what you have to say afterwards. So we should probably move on. The number 3, I'm just going to have you go back and look at that. But I want you to see how you develop product and services. Are you developing from a sense of me and what I have to offer? Or are you developing it from a place of I'm asking my list, I'm asking my audiences, I'm asking for what they want, and I'm going to actually provide that answer. So in Lenore's, Linda, sorry,
That's okay, I got a couple.
your name's, but in Linda's situation with Feng Shui, you know, I mean, if your list is saying I want that, girlfriend, make a product, put it online, do it.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a resistance because, you know, all of us are so independent and we like to think that we should do what we want to do and everybody will love that. But if you want to make money in the very beginning, do what your lists and what your tribe is asking you for. And then be creative. Like Miley Cyrus later,
Let me just say
after she has the audience.
Let me just say quickly, listening to my peeps, they said that they wanted 3 hours instead of 6 hours, so I created 3 hours, people didn't show up. What I found out was that they needed only 2 hours. 2 hours worked for them. And then I could get them to an all-day event. That 3 hour was too much of a time frame, time commitment for them, especially in the real estate industry.
90 minutes maybe.
And that's back
Yeah.
to the test.
Right, exactly.
You know, the thing is, and this is what I said yesterday of my big lesson last year, you can listen to the experts all you want, but you test everything for yourself,
Right.
with your clients in
And
your
your
market.
business, right.
Right.
Because they can only give you guidelines to conversations. It's really what you're doing inside your business, and you'll know what works. But know that every time you do something, this is something I haven't done, which I am doing now, is to write a system list of everything that you do.
Beautiful.
Because when you write a systems list, you can either duplicate that for what worked, and if it doesn't work, you know what to cross out. But it's really important.
And you can upgrade it.
Upgrading, right? Upservicing.
Upservice.
And you can delegate it.
Yes.
That's what I do.
Yes, for
Every single thing I
outsourcing.
do, I write a system because I know that, and once I delegate it, I get them to tweak it.
Right.
Right. And they
So
upgrade
you're
that
writing the
manual.
draft.
Christine, I have a
You're
question.
writing the
Sure.
draft.
Yeah.
So you said listen to your peeps.
Right?
Do you recommend and have your clients done an annual survey?
Yes, they do. At the end of the year.
Okay.
They do an annual survey, especially in your platform because you have so many different programs.
Okay.
I'm going to just use Rebecca's, just because
Yeah.
Rebecca's also an empowerment speaker person. And one of the things that I saw in her business is she had a branding issue. Her branding issue came out in all of her materials. She has so many programs that nobody can delineate what program is which and why and what is that for. And so what happens is it becomes a jumbled mess. So in Caterina's, I noticed that
I've got a lot of programs.
yeah, but you've branded it well. You have Thriving Speakers.
Everything's different brand.
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing I maybe would look at is some of the colors, because the colors are consistent from program to program.
Pretty much.
The color would allow them to like separate.
Make a differentiation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the imagery
Yeah.
from the graphic standpoint is that it's the banner, your face, the type, the font style is consistent from program to program, but the color would delineate which program and project that is. Do you know what I'm saying?
So you're saying
We
you,
do that, but maybe we don't do it enough, because
I have all red and orange, everything.
Yeah.
some are more red and some are more orange, but okay.
luxury
Like
retreat
blue, like purple,
Yeah.
like green, like
So you're saying you could keep the same branding, just change the color?
Oh, it is?
for different projects.
You change the color but use the same branding.
Yes.
I'd like that.
So the thing about it is a confused mind will never act, right?
Right.
So you, being the creator, we all think, well, of course that makes sense. But in actuality, if you stepped into the reader's mind or the participant's mind, if you laid it all out, would it make sense? So I invite you to do that exercise, to lay out all of your pieces of all your different programs side by side and see if you can, without reading it, if you could actually tell what project or program that is. And if you can't, then go back and, make
Well,
it
I
fit.
could definitely tell.
Without
Absolutely.
reading it?
Yeah, I mean, because it's an imagery thing, right?
It's image.
It's image.
It's picture.
First, it's a picture, then it's the words, then it's the content.
Have
So-
somebody else look at them, not you.
Yeah.
But I would stand behind them, sweetie, and then just sort of like
Oh, no, I
see.
can absolutely tell the difference.
It's great.
Yeah,
What
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I know others can't. But no,
Yeah.
I think it's a good upgrade, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So what I've been doing, I just have a few things, is I've been creating a different look for each one, but I like the idea.
No,
As I
no.
go into live events.
Yeah, don't create a different look
is the
unless
same
it's a
look.
different business model.
No.
So in Caterina's,
Yeah.
she's got all these different workshops and speaking platforms. They
Yeah.
all come under, these live workshops.
Right.
So all the fonts and all that should stay the same. Her
Right.
face should stay the same. But between speaking and business, on my bookshelf it looks the same. And I only know because I read the side of the binder to know that it's a different
Right.
thing.
Right.
It's true.
Okay.
So you
Binders
said
are all the
first it's
same.
the
So we gotta look at
picture, then
Yeah.
it's the.
Yeah, so let's use a website. Let's use the web page
You
for
said like
So when I
example,
put
you said
them
the
up on
picture
my
is
thing,
something
they
and
look
then
real
the words.
right. So if you look at a web page, you get the imagery, right? You get the
colors are
imagery.
close.
Then your brain tries to anchor to something. So if it's a clean navigation, your brain goes, "Oh, this is the home page. This is the about me page." Right? And then you start reading. You go to the page and you start reading content. So that's why it's great to always have your picture, your photos, your whatever it is that you're trying to communicate. That image.
Did you just ask a question?
Mine is a lotus.
Yeah.
That's my
Imagery,
Gorgeous.
and then the
And
words
words.
and content.
So when I did some of my flyers, I started getting some comments immediately because they're all the same. I just had my picture on them. And what I started doing for my different offers was that I had an organized closet for the one about clutter. Then I had an MP3 or a CD for the
Yeah,
teleseminars.
that's great.
And then I had a picture of a home for the consultation.
Right.
So that the picture, because people were not
Good.
reading the words.
Good.
Well, you
So-
don't. Right? When you think about a website, and the reason that video is such a, I know we're digressing a bit, but the reason that video is such a key thing in so much broadcasting now is because it's easy to listen to something. It takes time, energy, and effort to read something and to absorb that. So I know for myself, I flip on a video, it's buried inside 5 other pages while I'm typing and doing something else. That's why video is so important, that you need to get that into your media plan, because people don't sit and watch a video, but they listen to your video,
Well,
or they
then why
listen to
do a
others.
video at all? Why not do an audio?
They listen to it.
because it's not sexy.
Okay, so they're gonna be more inclined to open and play the video over the audio,
Well,
but they'll just probably listen to it.
use yourself as an example. What's more sexy, having a picture of somebody doing something, talking to you, or getting the little MP3,
All right, so I got you.
right?
Yeah, of course, you're right.
It's all about, it's all about how do you draw someone in, How the information is secondary. First, you got to get them to click it open for them to listen.
So now that's
Wait, one more thing.
Oh, okay.
And the thing about video is it gives you a double hit because it's transcribed inside YouTube if you have it linked there. Google gives you extra juice points for having a video, and then it's transcribed inside their bots. So
Who transcribes it?
they do. So every video you load up into YouTube, there's a closed caption, and it'll actually go across the bottom of the screen what you're speaking. All of that is uploaded into the search engine, and that's why it gives you double credit.
It happens automatically? Or
It happens automatically. Once you link it into YouTube, it's automatically transcribed. And here's something else. I don't know that you guys know. This is pretty cool. So I'm listening to Andy Jenkins, one of my favorite gurus, and he has this amazing content on mindset. And there was such great stuff in it. So I'm a part of his program. So I wrote, and they said, hey, no PDFs for you. Content's good. And I'm like, oh yeah, YouTube transcribes it. I went over to YouTube. I hit the closed caption. I copied it and pasted it, and I have my PDF.
Yeah, you would.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's hot.
This
That-
is Andy Jenkins?
How he wouldn't transcribe, how to transcribe.
Well, no, like I would go to you and you'd say, of course, Christine, I'll get you that PDF. Andy Jenkins is like, sorry, lady,
Okay.
figure it out. You're an internet marketer, so it just took me one extra step.
Okay.
So does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it does. It does. But I have another question about video now.
Okay, well,
Okay.
we'll get there.
All right.
Because I only have 35 minutes left.
So I just recorded my audio on how to plan, produce, and profit from a women's retreat, free talk box. I could put that with a slide of my beautiful face on YouTube, and then they would transcribe it, and then I could get the transcription. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Oh my God.
Well,
It just caught
they
them.
don't really, they don't tell anybody that. And you have the index, the time index of what you're speaking on the left-hand margin. But, if you have a VA,
How long does it take for that to happen?
like as soon as you upload it, as soon as you put your link inside YouTube, you got it there, you automatically, it's transcribed.
Okay,
But the,
that is a super tip.
That's a super tip.
How do
That
you-
just saves hundreds
what
of
do you
dollars in
click on?
Transcription
And
fees.
also,
you know what I'll do for all of you?
Yes.
You know what I'll do for all of you? I will do a little screenshot and show you how to get through YouTube and
That
get
would
your little
be
transcriptions.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
You can take that then. You can take that content that you've now done, make a little bonus, right, in your information products,
I'm feeling.
and you can be speaking it. You have a video, and you can make a PDF.
Oh my God. Okay, I have another question.
Crazy.
Okay, wait, there's more.
there's more.
I'm sorry.
There's more.
Maybe Caterina needs to give me 2 hours.
That's absolutely
Okay.
crazy. Well, too.
So, I take all this stuff for granted because I
Granted, you do.
know all this stuff.
You do.
So I'm so
You
happy
do.
to share it with everybody. So on page 3, we have let's make the shift from old style marketing to a more successful marketing formula. And I just want to fill those words in, and then we can chat. I think that's probably a better way to do it. Yeah. Okay. So we want to ask.
Why can't you just blank let this page is filled in? No, okay, we're on this blank one. Okay.
Yeah. So you want to ask your list what they want.
Ask it.
Okay. So let's write the word ask.
And then what they want behind that.
Well, what they want is right there. So, build.
Mine is not. This is
Mine is
ask your
not.
list.
This is something you'll list.
Oh, sorry, revision 2. Okay, you guys got revision 1. Ask what your list, what they want.
Yes.
And then 2 is build a connection with them. So I'm just going to, as a little
Yeah.
sidebar, there are many people who have an email list and they never speak to them. So that's why I'm saying let's build a connection through email And let's use social media also to build that connection. So you want to create a questionnaire and ask them what they want. Number 4 is identify their interests and needs. And then build your content around what they're asking for.
What was number 4?
Interests and needs. Number 5 is your list and social media are great tools to create engagement. And number 6 is by creating engagement, you establish a conversation with them. Are you okay? If I'm going
This is
too
what
fast,
Google wants now with Hummingbird, right? They want conversations.
I'll speak to that. Yes.
Yeah.
They feel when you your list, they feel special and important as a contributing member to your community. So I just want to stop here for 1 sec. How many of you feel really important when somebody that you're following asks you to participate in a program?
How
And
are
then
you following them?
when you sign into their email list and they say, hey, I need a beta tester, or I'd like you to be a part of this special group. You know, when you participate in that as a participant, you feel special and honored, and you know that whatever your comments are going to affect their program. And you want to be doing that. And the reason is because never before in the history of marketing have we had the ability to have communication directly with our users. We used to pay tons and tons of money for focus groups, right?
Yep.
This is the best invention ever, because now you have somebody that's interested in you, that said that they're interested, they opted in, they're in your tribe on social media, and they're on your email list. And if you aren't asking them, you're leaving money on the table. If you're not finding out who they really are and how to meet their needs, then you're leaving money on the table. If you don't know what your value proposition is, then ask them. Right? Ask them why they're there. Why do they want to hear from you? Understand what that is so that you can give them more. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
I love all this, my friend. Thank you. And when we ask them, what do we ask them?
Yeah, it seems to me there's a whole
What-
art to designing a survey.
There
You don't
is.
just throw a few questions out
There
there.
is. But it's the objective, right? So let's use you, for example. I'm sure you've got, 10 different programs for 2015. You've got it conjured up in your brain.
2014 or 2015?
Well, 2014 is done, I thought.
Yeah, it's done.
Right.
So we'll add one more for 2015.
So for 2015, you probably have a bunch of things that you want to know, but you're not quite sure whether it's going to work or not.
But I still want to know now for 2014, because I think it's just good to know, even though.
Right. Well, I'm just using this in a sort of
Okay.
from a product launch
Okay.
conversation.
Okay.
So because 2014 for you is basically put to bed, all
But
your
no
events.
launches are planned.
Right.
There's events planned, but no launches are planned.
Okay. Well, coming it back to events.
Okay.
If
Or
you,
events. planned.
yeah, if you're wanting to know about some program that you're going to invest a lot of money into, it's going to cost you $10,000, $20,000 to create the
Right.
program. You're going to want to be asking questions whether your audience is interested, available, what the pricing might be that would work for them. I know the way you've been doing it is sort of like I come up with this event and then I pitch it from the stage and then people get excited. That's a great vehicle. But another way is to just sort of help you frame what you're trying to do before you make the offer, and that's where that little beta group might come in. So you might have people in this room and you might have other people in your workshops that will give you honest feedback.
Okay.
And then you ask the questions relative to whatever your objective is, right? So for some of you, maybe some of you guys have businesses and they're not really working well. Why don't you want to know why that is?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Your audience will tell you,
Right.
right?
So how do you have a resource to recommend for designing a survey? Because I know there's an art to this.
Well, it comes out of your business conversation. So
Oh, all right. Okay,
Yeah.
I could do
You
that.
can, also in Infusionsoft, you have access to their swipe book, which is what other people have done.
and tested.
Yes,
Oh,
you do.
really?
And so you can see what other people have done and use that to inspire you. and create your own.
But before you do that, before you dive into the deep end of that conversation, figure out what it is you want to know.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
trust your intuition. Like, I think we all sort of look outside ourselves all the time, but you really know what's important, what you need to know for your business and what your audience wants to know. So I would give myself the opportunity to draft it out first, then go to the swipe book and check it out
Yeah.
and see how to upgrade the framing and
Yeah,
the
I'm
questions.
interested more in the, I mean, I know what I want to know. I want to know just the mechanics and how the question should be asked. Should it be yes or
There's
no,
such
fill
a-
in.
You could spend a year figuring that out.
So this is what you want to do, just yes or no.
Just do it, it doesn't need to be perfect.
Yeah, and yes or no
I'm concerned-
answers.
I'm concerned
Yes
that
or
you're
no
gonna get
answers?
Yeah, you're gonna
too
get,
wound up in
yeah.
this.
Yes or no answers.
It's a whole incredible science.
Yes or no is fine.
Yes or no answers, 5 minutes or less. Tell them when you send them the email, it's 5 minutes or less. Make your questions have weight,
Got it.
right? Like really think about why you're asking that question and what that question is going to reveal to you for your business.
And
That's the strategic side of
I
it.
put together a questionnaire for my Clutterbuster group. I wrote it in 15 minutes. And it was just, what do I need to know from these people? And, you know, at the top, when I said something, I said, brief answers. I don't want something long-winded. So, you know, really tell them what it was.
I mean, if you really
Yes,
want to
no.
quantify it, you give them multiple choice. And you give them multiple choice and let them answer like A, B, C, D, or however you want to do that. So you can tally the information quickly. And then if people want to, you know, give you feedback, blog, have them write you a private message or. But the big thing is to be talking, right? Is to be gaining that information. So I think we left off on number 7. Oh, right.
8.
Yeah.
So,
You gave us 7.
Okay, so you're number 8. You further establish your credibility and your expertise with them. So, do you have the women's empowerment? Is it? Yeah. Are you the?
Whole Heart Marketing.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were somebody else.
Women's Empowerment Network.
No, it was the Enchanted Women's Network. Or
I'm
whatever.
I'm involved in that group, yeah.
You were okay because we met.
I am.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Right, we met
Yeah.
at the speaking. So one of the things as me as a reader that I've been getting emails over time is that it just the emails don't really enroll me to want to participate. It's like, oh, there's a meeting, and you know this is what we're doing, this is what we're offering. So I really would invite you. I know that participation was one of those things we had talked about, was to find out why people aren't coming. You know, is it they have too many networking meetings, or is it a bad day, or you know, what are they coming away with from the meetings once they go, and start embedding some of that into the emails.
3 hours is
Just-
part of it.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that already.
Were you talking to Cindy?
maybe.
Yeah, you weren't talking to me,
I wasn't.
but it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was on the
She's been to
speaker.
summits, yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
It's okay.
But they're friends, so you know.
We're friends.
Yeah.
Energetic situation.
Right. So there's this group called Genon that is over in Diablo. It's Girls' Night Out, something. And, I so want to write them because they're like, hey, you have to sign up. Because if you don't sign up, we're going to cancel. And so, event after event after event, they cancel because they really are communicating the message of being, I'm desperate, you guys need to do this. And they're sort of using that stick, that over that stick kind of get you there kind of mentality. And what it's doing is it's just eroding their whole list away. And so one of the things I invite you when you write, to write from a place of joy
Yeah.
and
Yes.
abundance
Yes.
and the mindset of success and happiness. Because when you don't write from that perspective, it comes across, right? And that's what I love about your emails all the time. Is they're really upbeat, they're happy, they're really positioned in a place of, yeah, I'm here for you, we're going to be successful.
They
Because
are.
that's what I want to know.
They are.
Thank you. I say positivity, certainty, enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Right.
I like what you've added too. And I would probably add love.
Yes.
Yes.
Wow.
And service.
Yes.
Right, and service.
Yes.
Service, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love
Let's
wouldn't,
add love.
love wouldn't work for the attorneys that I was sending stuff
No,
out
they're the
to.
ones who need it. Yes.
Right,
Well-
well, that's back to your brand attributes, ask them.
Yeah, it's about being congruent, right?
Well, I think with attorneys, they don't have enough of it, so maybe that is the right tact.
Send it to
Right.
me.
To send out some hearts to them? What do you mean?
You know, whatever gets them to open that conversation, you know?
Well, you are.
So I'd sort of
And
go
this-
against the grain of what they're used to and do something so
Okay.
outrageously fun.
You're about to do
Arts
that in
for
this
criminal
fundraising.
attorneys.
From a feng shui perspective, the area that is associated with legal issues is also an area that represents love.
No.
Really? Wow.
That's
And
interesting.
and usually an attorney's house is
I've heard it
missing
before.
that area.
Oh,
I
how do
love-
you know?
Interesting.
Because I've done 6,000 consultations.
Since she was 8.
Have you done her video for Angeline?
That's all right
No,
here.
that was
All right.
already-
Christine, you see what happens?
I see. Well, I'm still, okay,
Getting
so,
out of hand.
Okay, guys, let's see
Christine's
Christine
forging
Archer's
ahead here.
attention.
so just at that bottom, it says, you know, by the time you get to make your offer, it's at the bottom of number 8. We're still on this page, number 3.
I did.
It says, by the time you get to making your offer, you've already overcome many of their objections. And the reason is because you can ask them all along, right? If you're asking, their questions will tell you what their objections are.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
When you're communicating with your tribe, their questions are hidden objections to any offer that you make.
Definitely.
Do you see that?
Uh-huh.
People ask questions. That's
Right.
a hidden message of an objection.
Okay.
So if you can answer their questions, you've overcome the objection. So by the time you make the offer, all they can say is yes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It completely makes sense, and it's actually really a process. Thank you for
You're
taking us
welcome.
through this.
Well, I'm
Because
so
it
happy to
requires-
do this.
It requires a whole shift in thinking, but it's completely, thank you.
You're welcome. I think the way that we used to do marketing was always about, I have to sell. This is my ware. Don't you like me? Won't you love me? Please, won't you buy this? And the other way of doing that is from a love, joy frequency, which is, I'm here to serve you. What is it that,
What do you need? What can I
yeah,
do
what
for
can I
you?
help you with from my conversation? And how can I answer that for you?
Right.
And when you do that, nobody can really say no. And if your price point is in the right place, then what do you say? It's an easy yes or easy. Is that what you say?
Yes, yes.
An easy yes. Yes.
Right. One of the best marketing speeches I have ever given. They were a lively group, and there were a couple of people challenging me in a room.
Yeah.
So I stopped my speech, and I said, "Okay, I'm here to serve. Let's talk." And I picked the woman who was the biggest troublemaker in the group, and very lovingly, I said, "What's going on? How are you doing your business?" They're all entrepreneurs, and she was shocked at first, and then she started sharing. And then I was like coaching live in the room, and I got like lots of business that night. It was the best,
Right.
the best thing.
And Andrea, you want to do that in the room at your live event.
Yes.
Okay, and you
Plan
saw me,
for it.
I demonstrated that
Plan
for
for
you in Los Angeles. You bring somebody on stage, you do breakthrough coaching with them,
Yes.
okay, it helps with enrollment.
Yes.
So at the very bottom it says getting feedback from surveys and comments help you identify their objections. Dialoguing through email, blogs, social media sites are also helpful. Once you start talking about what about you or what your product or event is, they're going to start asking you questions. That's because you're enrolling them. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this last page is the new Millennium marketing. It's target specific marketing. And so the way this funnel works is this is all your sort of research conversation. You're using blogs, social media, survey questions, and email. You ask your list, what do you want? And then you develop new products based on the market demand. Off to the right, it sort of gives you the tactics of what you use. You begin implementing the product launch formula tactics, which are the tools, sequences, the offer, and the mental triggers. So the reason I'm not going into this in great depth is because it's a long
Because you don't want my eyes spinning in the back of my head.
conversation. But I wanted to give you the framework, the
Yeah.
architecture
Right.
of how that works.
Right.
And then you get to your product offer, you develop your strategy. Then you go into the pre-launch. Remember I talked about Jeff Walker
Right.
before he actually launches a really big launch on a national level. He'll do his own mini launch. He'll use his own list. He'll do the testing. He'll get the metrics. He'll change stuff. And when he knows it works, he goes and he tags his JV affiliate partners. And then he starts sending them swipe copy and, you know, all the stuff that they need
Does
to sell
everybody
through
know
the
what
system.
swipe copy is?
No, I didn't.
So it's,
It's-
oh, go ahead.
Mm.
No, go ahead.
Well, it's the email content and the social media content. So it's they
That
just
your partners can use.
they can use. Yeah, they
So
can
that
either
they just grab it
they-
and
yeah,
send it.
or they might tweak it and slightly make it their own.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then after they do all that testing in the pre-launch, then they actually launch the product to the general population. And that's when you get those $1 million hours.
I like that.
Oh, touch me.
I want to have $1 million a year first.
Oh my god.
And then $1 million quarter, and then $1 million month, and then $1 million day, and then $1 million hour. I guess it's okay to skip that too, but.
Well, I was listening to Mike Koenigs, and he was
He's a
saying
wonderful guy.
the first year, you know, the first time he had $1 million week, he called his mom, and she's like, "Oh, great, honey. That's good. Okay, how's your kids? Blah blah blah." So the next time he calls her on another launch, he says, "Okay, well we had $1 million day." She's like, "Oh, that's great, honey. I'm glad for you." And then he calls it. I think it was his last launch that he did with Rocket. He had $1 million hour, and that she got excited about.
Third time's the charm.
I'd be like, give me a piece of that, son. I'd be like, give me some money, son.
I think he needs to call somebody else.
He should call us.
He's really a wonderful guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He is. So that's my presentation for right now. I invite you to study this last page. I think that will give you.
Do we want to answer these?
The
Oh, I
social media
forgot.
gives us
Yeah.
direct-
Page 5 of 6?
Yeah, sorry. But page 4, whatever this
gives us
page is,
direct-
this funnel, this will really help you guys when
Yeah.
you start
I actually have a question about this, my friend.
this.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the product offer is I put together my squeeze page, the sales letter, right?
Yeah.
Squeeze page, right?
Yeah.
Okay, with my bonuses. Then,
What's that?
This product launch formula,
launch
use the strategy
okay,
of your list, relationships, your what the conversations are, what your positioning is, and your email sequences.
so I'm just getting that ready. I haven't done it, sent anything out yet, right?
Nope.
Getting my sales letter ready, getting my PLF ready.
Yep.
Then I test it for myself
Inside your own list.
with my own peeps.
Yep.
Then I've tweaked it, or I've tested, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm gonna invite my JV partners, because I can tell them that it's been successful.
Right. And so and the other thing too is the swipe copy you develop. That swipe copy you'd actually be presenting inside your own list. So you're going to be testing some of the copy that you're writing to your own list. If you get good metrics on it, that's the swipe copy that you'll be sending to your JV list.
Okay.
So you know that it's tested, it's ready, it's available.
Great, okay.
Sorry, I forgot. I got one more page.
Yeah.
Okay, so the number one is social media gives us access to our customers, which we know.
Gives us direct access.
Yep. And number 2 is as a business owner, Oh, sorry.
Social media.
gives you direct access to our
Thank you.
customers. And number 2 is as a business owner, we don't have to pay for a focus group to really know and understand our customers, which is huge.
To people.
Focus
Wow.
groups.
I didn't
yeah.
know people do that.
Yeah, focus groups can cost you $10K a day.
What kind of business? Just any
Any
businesses
consumer
that
product, service,
product.
anything,
Anything.
yeah,
There's
information.
a big lesbian, gay, bisexual focus group in
Oh.
San Francisco
Okay.
that asks a lot around travel and vacation spots. And
Wow.
Between email and social media, the small business owner can understand her customers and create direct relationships with them. That's how I know Laura Betterly.
Between what and?
Email.
Email
Okay.
and social media.
That's how you know Laura? Through,
I met Laura through Facebook conversations,
really?
and then I met her at a conference, and she and Kate Buck. The normal timeline for a product launch is anywhere between 6 to 18 months, depending on the complexity of your product.
So you're saying it's gonna take me 6 to 18 months to do this?
If you were starting from scratch, but I already know that you have building blocks in place.
Okay,
So for you, 90 days. No, no, really, because I know you have a lot of it done. So
okay.
there's, because
Because I told them this morning for launching their event,
Right?
90 days.
Yeah, an event's different than online,
Right, okay.
right? Because online you have all
I
these
just want to
different
make sure
parties.
you're on the same page with me.
Yes.
So 90 days would be appropriate for filling a room.
Yes.
So-
Okay.
Yes.
How far in advance for a product launch would you approach joint venture partners and affiliates?
You.
It depends on who you're approaching,
Yes.
because you have to get on their schedule.
Right. And the other
Yeah.
thing too is what is it? I'm going to talk
It's a
about
big-
that.
that's
I'm
a
going to
big
talk about
question.
that.
Yeah, I know.
That's a big question, and there's
Yeah.
a strategy
Yeah.
behind it. So let me just finish
Yeah.
this. Number 5 is the logistics of a launch takes great project management.
Yeah.
And number 6, there are hundreds of steps in a launch. So underneath here is the macro launch process. These are just the different phases of what a real launch would be. So, do you want
What's
to?
number 4?
Number 4 is product.
Complexity.
Launch of the product?
Oh, complexity of the product. But if you're just taking snippets of your live events, they're pretty simple, right? So let me explain this. The complexity of your product. Let's say Caterina decided to put her whole Thriving Speaker program online. That conversation is hours and hours of information, and so there'd be like many modules of conversation and all the different subtitles. That's going to take a long time to build. But if you're just taking something out of your live event, like we were talking about before, it won't take as long because it's just a little snippet of conversation.
Now, that brings me to the next thing. So let's say there was an hour talking about how to balance your life, right? And, you know, everyone's interested in that sort of thing. Are you saying that we would record a 50-minute to 1 hour video presenting that content?
You could, yeah.
And the reason I'm asking, and I seem skeptical, is because I've been told by multiple people that we shouldn't go more than over 3 minutes in
Right.
a video, because people lose their, you just
No, wait.
walk away.
But when it's content for a program, it's different to a promotional video.
Right.
So
So,
Is that
so,
the difference?
so the 50-minute video is your lecture, right? Inside of that, I would actually listen to it, and I would break it out in probably 5 segments. 10 minutes or less, or maybe 5 minutes or
And then
less.
send it out to the list in 10
But if they're
minutes.
buying it, if they're buying it as
Okay.
a product from you, then
Yes.
you can have it be topic specific and be able to direct them directly to that video. So take for instance, Andy Jenkins talks about your video camera. Talks about all the different equipment you can buy, the lighting. So that conversation is really big. But in his program, it's only I think it's like 5 different videos, less than 2 minutes long. So it's one long conversation he had, but he just broke it out. So I want to know about lighting. I just go to lighting and I listen to the lighting segment. I want to know about different cameras. He has a whole camera segment.
And that's something, a paid product?
Yeah, it was a paid product.
So basically, I'd be paying whatever for Andy Jenkins' product on how to use a webcam. Maybe I pay $200 for it, and what I get is 5.
No, for $297, there are probably 70 videos that he gave for $297.
Okay, so but
7
there's
or 70?
There are 70. There's
70
videos.
2-minute videos broken down by topic, so I
Yeah.
have this wealth of information, but he broke it into bite-sized
Yes,
pieces for me.
because the information is
Okay.
complex.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can listen, I can take my notes, I can get up, I can take a break.
Okay.
On the stuff that is on strategy, it's a very deep conversation. Those are like 5-minute videos.
Okay.
So it just depends on the topic.
Okay.
But the point is that he chunks it down.
He chunks it down.
Yeah,
very well,
because-
and I'm just wondering if that
Why
would be the way to
online?
do it for any content.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
that, down into 5-minute chunks.
And the other
not
thing, you
just
could be using it
complex.
as traffic generators too. Once you get them down
Well-
small enough, you can be using stuff for traffic generators. You can clip them in a way.
And tell her what a traffic generator is.
It's
and
that.
how you might use it.
Okay, sorry.
That's
That-
okay, but on
Garden.
Facebook, is
That
that
is great.
Yeah.
That's a great question. Yes.
A traffic generator is a segment that is 90 seconds or less. and you're talking it, or it could be a little longer, but not much. And you're talking about, let's say you're wanting fundraising, you're tagging attorneys for fundraising. You're talking about, the organization and why they should participate. You post that on Facebook, you put it on Twitter, you put it on LinkedIn, and you drive them back to your site so they can opt in, so you can list build, or they can make a donation.
So that's what you could do with that video that you made yesterday. And Angela, I know that you're concerned that your partner wasn't in the video, but this video is done, and maybe you can get her support to use it for traffic generation.
Sure, yeah, that's right.
So this is one of the things I want to say about information is there's a lot of it. There is more information being uploaded today than ever before in the history of the world.
It doubles every 2 years.
Right. Well, actually, I think that last stat is in a year now.
Yeah, it could be.
So what I want to say about your information is, there's the conversation about just get it done and get it out, which is good because that gets your momentum going. But what I really invite you to do is to always strategically think about what your message is. What are you trying to accomplish out of this conversation? In your business, you have a plan, right? You have an overall plan and an objective of where you're going. Know how that marketing effort actually fits into that plan. So much of the time when we're marketing, we're just doing it for activity, but we don't really have the return on investment. Understand that you're using your time, money, and energy, something that your energy and your time you can't get back. So strategically think about why you're doing this and how it's going to fit into your overall scope of your business. And every step you take then will start building towards something else.
So if we're starting to use video more, since we're not experts after yesterday, am I correct in saying that you could do a short video which gives value, it's on a topic that's going to be part of your live event, and invite people to come sign up for the live event?
If you like what you're hearing,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be doing a live event, and it's $97 for whatever, how many hours, and drive them to your opt-in page or your squeeze page, and have them ring out.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Facebook because I have a little bit more
I want to hear
time.
about Facebook advertising.
So Facebook just opened their platform up about 4 months ago, or maybe it's 5 months ago now. What does that mean? We have information about your demographics, but you also know about their
geo stuff?
the geo stuff, but more about what's really amazing about the platform is they actually now have all the psychographic information available. So those are things, our personal preferences
Can you talk
about.
about that?
Sure. Did I get a little more time?
How do you get there?
Guess what?
How do you get to that psychographic?
You know the rule, my friend, don't you?
It's organic.
You always ask for 10 more minutes.
Oh, that's right. I'm just learning.
And most of the time, I say no.
Yeah, she
For
does.
you, I'll say yes.
Okay.
You're very special VIP.
I guess. I feel, So, how do you get to the psychographic material? Well, first of all, you have to have an ad campaign. But the thing about it is, what I want to tell you is the list that you currently own that has all those people inside your tribe, you can actually identify what their profiles are, go to Facebook and say, I want people in this geographical area with this age, married, single, whatever, have these preferences. They will actually go and post your advertising on those walls. You won't see them until they opt in, but your newsfeed will be on their walls of people that are similar to the ones on your list.
I got lost in that. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Can you say it again?
You have a list. Yes, you have a list.
You mean on Facebook Friends?
Yes, you have a tribe. Yes,
Yes.
sorry.
Okay.
You have a tribe.
Right?
They are assuming that the people in your tribe know, like, and trust you. You say, I'm an advertiser. I want to find more people like the people in my tribe.
And now, how do you do that with Facebook?
Well, you're an agency. I'm an agency. But you hire an agency to actually go and do this conversation for you. And then,
I don't understand. I thought you said we could do it ourselves.
well, I'm sorry. You could do it yourself if you want to spend the time to work with Facebook advertising and get this information. Or you can use an agency that has the relationship, sorry,
Okay.
my brain, my reference.
Okay.
Use the agency to help you double your tribe.
Okay.
there's 5 different ways to now double your Facebook or triple or quadruple your Facebook tribe. But I'm just talking about one, which is something that you can either have somebody do, or you can talk to them and work with them to get that to happen.
How much does that cost typically?
It costs relative to your ad spend. So the more money you spend, the more willing and open they are to giving you more access.
Give
But-
us a
Range.
scope. Give us a base.
If I wanna add 1,000 people to my list,
Well, it doesn't really quite work like that.
okay?
But because you can get literally 1,000 people overnight if you paid the right people to do it. So I think what I'm trying to say to you is you have the ability now to attract people, new people, into your community that have similar characteristics to the tribe that you already own.
Right.
We've never had that ability to do that,
Yeah.
and they post it on their walls. And you make sure that your ads are driving them back into your opt-ins or to like your page. There's like different campaigns. There's list building and there's liking.
So I guess what I'm curious about is if I paid for this, now does my little ad then show up on their page? I know there's paid.
Well, there's paid advertising on the right-hand wall.
Yeah,
And then there's wall advertising.
Yeah, exactly, those the sponsored
Yeah.
posts.
Right. So when you go and you talk to them, you tell them that you want to be in the wall, you want to sponsor posts, because those are actually pulling now. Everything in the right-hand column is not really pulling at all. They're not very high in
Yeah, but the
conversions.
sponsored posts are, I know.
Right. So they pick out all that information that you give them, and then they find those people in their vault and they post them on the wall.
How do you create a budget around this?
Well, you decide how much you want to spend. I mean,
But none of us have any clue what we're looking at here.
well, that's a tough question because you have to know what your cost per lead, what you're willing to spend. For one, do you know how much it costs for you to acquire a lead? So this is a whole media conversation,
Yeah,
which
this
is
is
different.
advanced, I think.
And it's something I could do. I could have a conversation around, but it's complicated. But literally, it's like how much does it cost for you to acquire a lead, and what do you consider a good lead? And once you know what that might mean for you, then you can go and break out a media spend relative to that, right? But if you don't know how much it costs for you to acquire a lead, it's tough for me to say, spend this much in this medium because we don't know what the ballpark is. So there's a calculation in how you do that.
And Christine, what you're talking about, is that relative to our business page and not our personal page?
Yes, it's your business page. It's about your business.
So on my business page, I do I've done some sponsored posts,
Okay.
and I identify the age and the geographic area and the sex.
Right?
Is there more that I can identify?
Yeah, married, women over 50 or, 35 to 55, 60, whatever. Active, whatever you can think.
The keywords, talk about keywords.
The psychographic variable, right. So most of the time, as people not in media, you don't know to ask for those other things. And that's what's so amazing about Facebook is because, when you open up your Facebook account, it asks you all these questions. And some people who just sort of did it, didn't really understand that they were pulling for information. There's a lot of personal information in there. So if you want married with kids, with grade school kids, with teenage kids, whatever that might be, you can be putting that into your criteria for your advertising. So
So one of the things I want to say is how this applies to some of you, okay? So Angeli, for your new organization, do you have a business page or a fan page built yet? You do?
Yeah, I didn't do it, but yeah.
Okay, good. So that's something that would help you get more likes and increase awareness, what Christine's talking about right now. For you, Diane, because you have a geographic business, or what we call on-the-ground business, this is gonna be really good for you.
for local, yeah.
Because that's gonna help you with your local business. The rest of you, which is everybody else, who's currently doing events, this really helps you because you can target peeps in the area
Right.
of the event that you're doing. Okay? Then I will say I love Facebook advertising.
I do too.
It's not a lot of business.
I would not say it's gotten me a lot of business, but it has definitely helped get people in my room
For your sons.
for my sons.
Yes.
But remember, that's how I'm
Right,
getting people in my bottom bowl. That's all I'm
Right.
interested in.
exactly.
So think about, like, and I've done it for, but also for Enliven, my teleclass that I just did on how to plan produce profit for a women's retreat. The purpose of that teleclass was to get new peeps in our community. We had 200 signups, which I don't think is that great, but
How long did you run the campaign for?
a few days, maybe.
Okay.
But that definitely put new people on my list, which was the whole purpose.
Do you know how many actually were on the call? From 200
So I would say half the people that signed up
Yeah.
were not already on my list, like 87, so almost half were not on my list.
And that's also the objective in your media,
So that's 87 new peeps
That's
on my
great.
list
right?
that are interested in doing their own event or women's retreat, which
Yeah.
makes them an ideal client for me.
Right.
Now, they may or may not buy, but now they're
Did they? Was it a like campaign or did they opt in? They actually opted
Well,
in.
when I said 200, Christine, that was people that opted in for the free call.
Okay.
So almost half of those people were new people to the list,
Okay.
and I spent maybe $80 on promoted posts. So for me,
It's a
that's
dollar a
That's
lead.
expensive.
about $1 a lead, which is awesome.
And it's a qualified lead in a way.
Right, it's a qualified lead.
Yes.
So yeah, I was gonna qualify the expensive part. You know, expensive is only relative to how long that person stays in your program. Like if they opt in and they don't do anything, but $1 for a qualified lead is actually cheap. I mean, it's
Right.
inexpensive. Sorry,
Right, okay.
Cost effective.
cost effective, good
So do
ROI.
you see everybody?
And they opted in, so you now have them in your email.
Correct.
Right?
Exactly.
Because I wasn't, so let me be clear, the campaign was not to like my page.
No,
Right, I
it
was
was
just
to
gonna say
Which
sign
that.
up
did
for the
not
call.
put them on my list.
Right.
Right,
The campaign was
Get,
for them to come to a free call,
yeah.
which they had to opt in for.
So
which
I
drives
could-
them to the list.
I could do that for
And
my
exactly.
first summit.
Yeah.
Exactly, and let me also say that what we did after was we offered the call recording, but again, they have to opt in. So that's
To
a
list
second
bills.
campaign on the recording.
Right.
So this is so easy, so inexpensive, there's no reason not to do this.
Right.
So you offered it to people who hadn't opted in before, or they had to like do a double opt-in
They have
to
to,
get the recording,
what I'm saying, Andrea, so we've done the call, right?
right?
It's posted on the page, the teleclass page. The sign up for the teleclass page has now been converted to a sign up for the recording page,
Right.
which is an opt-in page.
Which
So it's
gets you on
another
the
opt-in.
list. Yes.
To get the recording.
It's the same thing.
If you've already received it, if you signed up for it to begin with, you're
Well,
already
right,
taken
yeah.
care of. For anyone who's now, she sent out a second campaign.
Oh, yes,
so-
yes, you did.
But
I
what
knew
I
you
did,
that,
well,
yeah.
let me be clear. I'm saying is I did another Facebook promoted
Oh.
to
Sell the webinar.
get
Yeah.
new peeps. Do you see?
Yeah.
So she
I
had
could do that every month.
200 people sign up. She had 87 people listen, and then she reposted it and
Yeah.
said, "Hey, I've got this webinar recording.
Right.
If you're interested, here's the opt-in."
Right, and that's
So-
gonna get some new peeps.
So
And
the,
you
here,
keep sending
here's
out that campaign.
I can do it every month, I
Indefinitely.
can do
Right.
it every week.
Right.
is it or a bonus or something? Yeah.
Well, I'm saying, but this is through my Facebook fan page.
Right.
So the
Right.
whole purpose of it is to get new peeps on my list.
Right.
It's
So
like-
there's a difference too. I want you guys to understand. There's a difference between list building and
Yes.
liking. Okay,
Yes.
liking your page gives you exposure. When somebody likes your page in their news feed, it says, Christine Miura just liked Caterina's page, and it shows to all my people that are following me.
How does share different? How does share differ from like?
Liking your page says this number of people likes this conversation. When you share a page, you don't necessarily. Well, actually, yeah. When someone's showing up in your feed, you've already liked their page. So when their feed comes in your wall and you share that, then you're sharing that with your audience. But it doesn't directly mean that they'll go and like Caterina's page. They'll
But it
just
does
see
give
her
you more
post.
clout.